Good afternoon, everybody. How are you today? And welcome to the latest edition of Drew Mania Live. So great to have you with us for this Tuesday, the 7th day of May, the year 2019. And of course, this is yours truly, Andrew L. Perry. Oh yes, and yes indeed, as always, coming to you live and at you from the busy streets, which is Brooklyn, New York, as I chat to you what is happening in the world of sports. Well, we have a lot to do today, as usual. We have the NBA playoffs to discuss. We are scooping a little NHL and stuff like that, and of course, we got the Yankees in the match. But before we get into the Mets and the Yankees, let's kick off the show. I want to kick off the show that I wanted to do. I know it's 4 days old. I want to talk about the controversy of what transpired Saturday evening on the 145th Kentucky Derby. Now, I have to admit, I look at it a couple of times. I saw the replay, and excuse me, I watched the re-race on YouTube and stuff. I watched it 3 or 4 times, and I asked myself, did they make what they made? I thought for a second, I keep changing my opinions about did they make the right decision? Did they make the right call? I don't know if they made honestly, I don't know. I can't. I don't know if they made the right call or not. But the more you watch it, the more you watch the race, the more you see the number 7 hitting number 1 on the horse track that Saturday. It changed your mind little by little. It changed my mind little by little. So the result, I will say this. Now it's Tuesday, May 7th. Now I'm saying this. This was a decision they have to make. Because if they didn't make that decision, it would have been a disaster. It would have been a total disaster. And from the get go, let's go back. I'm gonna go back further from when the race started. It looked like it was going to be a disaster from the beginning, because I don't know if you guys pay attention. If you guys pay attention when you watch the race that Saturday, that the horses was bundled up a little bit. It was still bundled up a little bit. It really feel like they were. I thought it was going to be a disaster, but it it really didn't. Again, even if you're watching a normal speed, did it affect the race at all? No, it didn't. Did it have an impact in the race? No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Because we're not gonna because the best horse out there was number 7, maximum security. I think nobody ain't gonna dispute that. Horse racing or not, he was the best horse. He was the best horse out there. But that's not my point. My point is this. I believe that it wasn't a decision that they have to make, and this was the committee of Churchill, not just Churchill Downs, but the chief, starting with the chief of the horse clubs, that this is a decision they have to make. They have to make that decision. Because remember, folks, this is going in. It was going to be one of the richest money out there in the history of this Kentucky Derby. $3 million was at stake. Lives would be changed forever. Listen. Horse being disqualified all the time. It's not the first time it happened, but in the Kentucky Derby, you want to make sure that you get this right. And I thought the committee did a good job looking back at it, making sure that they get the call right. And I thought, in my opinion, I thought they could have given it to a different horse, to be honest with you, but you really can't. But they had, again, they had to make that decision. I feel bad for the jockey and stuff like that. But the horse was but back to what I was saying, the horse was all over the place anyway. He was all over the place. He really was. He got spooked. He got spooked with whatever it's the crowd noise or whatever it might be. But if you watch it in slow mo, when it's live speed, you're not gonna tell. But the more you look and you look slowly and surely in the replay, the horse got spooked. There's no way around it. Going down the stretch, if you notice, he was moving a little, a little slide, like riding a little slide. If you don't, even if you saw it, he riding a little slide, which is pretty odd. But the whole no question about it. Like again, Madam Secretary, Maximum Security number 7 was the best horse in that race, but no, they gave it to number 20. At that time, I don't know about you folks. I just turned off the T. I just changed it to somewhere else because I couldn't watch it because I thought it was a disgrace. I thought they could have gotten it, but number 20 wasn't affected by that foul at all, by that ejective at all. Let's keep that in mind. Let's keep that in mind. It didn't affect him at all. The horses that got fouled was War Will. So so, but and a lot of Randy Moss said it. If the horse of the analyst for ABC horse racing, if this was Aqueduct or Saratoga or any other horse racetrack, this this wouldn't take 30 minutes. This wouldn't take 45 minutes. This would at least take 3 minutes, and that jockey and that horse would have been disqualified long time ago. So, but which brings me back to the first question: do they make the right decision? I don't know, but I think they had no choice but to make that decision because this is the biggest horse racing in the world, and you got to make sure you got to get that call. You got to make that call. You have to make that call right. Get everything straightened out. So I feel bad. I feel bad for Maximum Security. Congratulations to Country House and just to and let's not forget Country House is the second obviously is the second horse to defeat to have the second biggest odd in Kentucky Derby history with 63-1 going in. Every, Maximum Security was the favorite, obviously, and to come out of nowhere and to win to win and to get that close which I thought folks that he wasn't going to go nowhere. I thought Waller Will was going to pull straight through, but it didn't happen. It really didn't happen. It really didn't happen. But let's see. But these horses are young. Just remind you, these horses are young. They're not used to playing in big, not racing in this big crowd because the Kentucky Derby is have the biggest crowd in not in the country but in the world. No horse races is going to be packed like the Kentucky Derby. You know, it's a lot of history, So again, Maximum Security horses got spooked. And you want to blame the horse for it? Go right ahead. Go right ahead. And now we all playing this blame. Who's to blame, the horse or the jockey? The jockey. Well, should the jockey have more control of the horse? Absolutely, but it's not easy. It's not easy. So what can you do? But here's the thing we forgot to add. Thank God it wasn't a disaster. It could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse for a season that the horse racing was not good. They said it in the beginning of the show. This is a beginning of the horse racing. To the favorite before maximum security was scratched out. Um, Omaha Beach was scratched by Wednesday, and if I'm pronouncing it right, Huckatel. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name. One on Friday was scratched. So either way, it wasn't a good race for horse anyway. And to have that happen on the biggest horse racing in the world is, I don't know, but it's going to be one to remember. That's for sure. So that's it for the Kentucky Derby. Now I think it's time to press the panic. Is it time? I think it's time to press the panic button, not just for the match for Jacob Degrom. His record is not good at all. He's 2-4 now. The offense is in a slump right now for the Mets. Outside of Pete Alonso, even though he was named Rookie of the Month, and the pitcher who pitched Jake Chris Paddock, whatever the hell his last name is, saying before the show, saying before the game last night. Yes, it's cool to win. It's cool to be Rookie of the Month, but I'd rather win Rookie of the Year. Like, okay, okay, it's struck him out. Okay, okay. I don't know. Well, I don't know how far, how it didn't lead to nowhere, but it was whatever. That's the way I take it, and that's how the Mets has been. It's been like whatever. Every time that the Mets get into 500 or started off hot, they don't stay long. They Once they get into 500, on 500, 310, under 500, and going to April, like the middle of April, I said to myself, I knew the Mets was not gonna stay at 500 for long, and look what's happening right now, and they don't have, and to top it all off, they don't have good success against the San Diego Padres to begin with. Uh, They're one of the few teams that the San Diego Padres have success over. Maybe because of the weather, I don't know, but they don't hit well. They haven't been hitting well. They've been struck out. This is the second time this year. This is the second time that Jacob Degrom has been pitching. He's been pitching ever since he got that contract. Let's put it in perspective, okay? Ever since Jacob Degrom got that contract, he has been pitching awful. He hasn't been the Jacob Degrom of last year. And I said this before, the Mets should have waited till the end of the year to give him that contract. Because look what happened. Look what happened. He's not having a Cy Young year. And he's not showing he's not the best pitcher. So is known to Syndergaard. The starting pitching for the Mets need to get it going. Really, really do. They really do. Yes, Zach Wheeler battled. I know, but they gotta be more consistent than that. Okay, because like I said at the top of the show, folks, it's gonna comes to the point where the team is gonna separate themselves. And look at the Phillies. Even though the Phillies didn't win yesterday, the Phillies are separating themselves from the East. And if you're the Mets,